Here's why I'm holding a crazy amount of altcoins, more specifically XRP. Why am I holding such massive bags? Why am I not selling a ton of it to buy properties or buy businesses or whatever? Why am I keeping it in XRP rather than dollars? Let me tell you guys a little story today about why I personally think holding XRP is a pretty interesting decision on my end. More importantly, that it might be one of the best financial choices, first of all, I've ever made, but more importantly, will ever make. And it all starts from the basis that I've been holding this coin, XRP, for an extremely long amount of time. For all of you that are not really aware of what I'm talking about here, XRP is right now the third biggest cryptocurrency out there. It's been around for over a decade, and well, it's pretty fast, pretty reliable, based in the US, or I should say, US related, which is nice for the new Trump administration, and it's going for a mission which most average people can understand. What I mean with that is there are quite a lot of coins out there that are either fully jokes, especially in the last season, where a lot of meme coins came up that do absolutely nothing, and I'm not against that, but they do nothing. So they're inherently completely worthless, not just like, okay, what they're doing is kind of stupid, like with a lot of AI coins where you get the idea behind it, but it's not really doing anything, so it's kind of worth. No. With most meme coins, they're inherently completely stupid, just collectibles with no real fundamentals. They can do well, but inherently you're just flipping up a coin thinking, hey, you know what? People are going to find this funny, or it's going to be trending for some reason, not that the tech is going to pop off because it's a meme, right? So that's on the one hand, but you've got a lot right now. And on the opposite end, there's also a lot of projects that are so extremely difficult or so theoretical that most people can't get it. And when most people can't get it, most people don't buy. Sometimes people buy in purely off of the idea that, oh, it might do that, it might do that. But I think if they can't explain their mission of the project in a sentence a 13-year-old can understand, right? Not 6-year-old, but a 13-year-old, then it's too difficult for the masses. And a lot of crypto projects, they are, for example, in the DeFi space, even though they, again, can do extremely well, it's not one of the coins that's soon enough going to be at the top, and the top. And that's why right now it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, all clear values, all clear usage, but I keep thinking about it. Bitcoin at number one makes sense, even though it's not really the best at nearly anything, is just the first. And I'd say if I had to name a characteristic, it basically would be that it's the OG when people think of cryptocurrency investing and of a collectible, a sort of a store of value that will appreciate over time. And so when you start looking at number two, Ethereum, for example, in this case, even though things recently changed where it became more deflationary, I should call it, I would still say that most people don't generally see it just as a collectible. Very often people see it more as a network where massive amount of things are built on. But another coin in the top, I think fourth or fifth right now, Solana, well, it's kind of a competitor on this network scheme. Ultimately, every single network out there in crypto, or every crypto really, is in an indirect way a competitor with one another. Ethereum and Solana more so because Ethereum was around for way longer, right? And basically in the 2021 run, all the NFT projects, all the big things were built on there, caught a lot of momentum because of that. This season, Trump launched his meme coin on Solana. All the hype seems to be on Solana. And for that reason, some people say, hey, you know what? Maybe ETH, right now number two, is not really worth going for as much anymore because it's basically losing its appeal as being the best platformer rather than Solana. But a counter to that, and I'll just state the obvious here, is that for Solana, the bull case would be that even the president of the United States just used it. The bear case would be that the president of the United States just used it. What else could there be that's even better than that? So if you were expecting a doomfall for ETH, you'd kind of have to say the same about Sol. Because, again, you're not going to get something, maybe you will, but generally speaking, you're not going to get something even crazier on Solana anytime soon, most likely, than the president just one day launching a freaking meme coin going to $70 billion worth of market cap. Anyway, so we can see some positives, we can see some negatives, and we can basically do that for any coin. With XRP, every single day I look at the comment section, there's a ton of people who state, Dusty, this coin doesn't make a lot of sense, I'm staying away. And I always respond back saying, hey, brother, You do whatever you want because ultimately it is your money. It's your investment. I'm not your financial advisor. But when I start looking back and thinking, hey, you know what? I bought this coin so many years ago and I've been buying it ever since with the idea that, well, at some point it most likely decouples from its everlasting downtrend against Bitcoin. And at some point it will be recognized for being done with the lawsuit that they had against the SEC. Now, especially since the new Trump administration will probably get a strategic crypto reserve going that will most likely include some US or US centered or US surrounding coins like XRP, that a lot of the good will now be seen in it. And again, if I just use a top-down approach, meaning, I start basically at the biggest of cryptos, that is Bitcoin. Well, again, I just called out a couple of interesting parts, but basically it's not the best at anything really. So then, okay, we go over to Ethereum. Well, I just called the bull, I just called the bear case for ETH. With XRP, again, you can name a couple of good, a couple of bad. A good one is extremely fast. It's had a lot of pressure on it that right now has been relieved because the SEC related things are gone. Another added thing is that theoretically speaking, the most bullish of times are really still ahead because the lawsuit is not officially finished, but it could be over very, very soon. Again, another bull case to kind of think of. And a bearish side, which also could be flipped into something nice, just like with Ethereum, just like with Solana, is that as it currently stands, Ripple has a lot of involvement. The reason it's nice is because, like we just said, the connection with Trump becomes easier, the reliability becomes higher. The reason it's bad is because people often dub centralization an issue. I wouldn't say that, but they often say it's an issue. And some people say it goes against the core values of crypto. But I often state back that, again, any coin in this list, you can name a positive and a negative for, any one of them. But I think it's logically almost always true that the higher in the rankings you go, the lower the returns are, but the higher the probability of success. So I look at Bitcoin, I see the probability of it doing a 10x from here as a 100% chance. That's me personally, right? A 100% chance, which is why I've got a ton of money in Bitcoin. If Ethereum, if you asked me a few years ago, I would have told you again, 99% chance that this would do well. But this run, it's been so different. Solana has been getting all the praise and Ethereum is nowhere to be seen. Again, I'm holding more Ethereum than most people will ever see in their lifetime, so don't think I'm against it. That's not it. It's mostly from the perspective of, hey, what is hyped up, what is exciting? And right now this season, Ethereum has not had its time to shine, but mostly it's been Solana. Even though a few months ago, Solana was at freaking, $10, something like that, and a lot of people thought it was dead, it revived itself beautifully, making like a 20x or so this run, whereas Ethereum, it did well, but not that well. And people often dub this chart, or I guess this little overview, the way the bull market moves, or the way that alt season comes on in. Bitcoin first, then Ethereum, then large caps, and then full-on altcoin season. Now, that is also basically the rankings of what is the quote-unquote lowest risk to, again, on the opposite side, highest risk. And again, logically now I'm going to coin number 3. Again, there's positives, there's negatives, but I basically see it like this. Well, if I had to put a probability of success with XRP, I'd again basically rank it as the third biggest crypto, meaning, Bitcoin has a very small percentage chance of failing. Ethereum has a very, very small percentage chance of failing, especially if you compare it to a coin that's in the 90th spot or 9,000th spot, right? XRP also, in my opinion, has a very, very, very small chance of failure. And I'm not talking about the price going down a bit, I'm talking failure, all right? Going down to the ground and never recovering. So when I see it like that, it makes sense to have it if I wanted to be a bit safe with it. And again, if I go to Solana, again, I stay kind of the same. With BNB, I say kind of the same. Slightly different because it's like an exchange token. But basically the same. As I go down, I kind of see the probability of failure being slightly higher the more and more down the rankings that we go, with a couple of caveats. Some coins I'm less bullish on than another, even though they are in a different spot. But now that was only one of my 2 parts. Part 1 is risk assessment. What is the probability of going to 0? Point number 2 is what is my multiplier? So again, when I'm looking at Bitcoin, I basically over this cycle expect at least $120,000, but potentially as high as $240,000. With Ethereum, so that's like, let's just say a 20% increase to maybe a 120% increase, or 140% increase, or 160% increase. Just somewhere in, let's just say, the maximum 250% increase over this season. With Ethereum, I'd say my maximum increase is, let's say, 400, 500% maybe. So let's just say at like a really high tier, I think it might be able to go to 14,000. I don't even think it's going to go there, but I'm saying as a high baseline. And then it's kind of funny because even when I look at Solana, I'm like, it could probably go to like 1,000. And that's already kind of funny when you think of the fact that I kind of see Ethereum being able to do a 4x in number 2. And then Solana at number 5 being able to do about a 4, 5x or so. You'd think that XRP then I would have in my head as also like a 4 or something x. But I have explained many, many times why I really think that XRP could actually do way higher than that. I've theorized multiple times why I say, or I think, that if Ethereum actually is able to go to like 10,000, for example, I think XRP could be far above $20 a coin. And so when I keep looking at it like that, I keep thinking, hey, you know what? I'm not 100% sure it's going to go to the price I just mentioned. But again, just the risk assessment, the risk is quite low, but the reward, and that's basically the ratio, in my own opinion, is actually quite significantly higher for coins that are coins that are lower than it, even though theoretically speaking, it has a lower risk. Again, that's just my observation, and I've covered 1,001 times on the channel why I always have multiple XRP positions open, and why I always say on the short term, you never will know where it's going to go. It could literally drop like crazy within a day, just like it dropped a little bit earlier to $1.70, but over a long period of time, and we've often charted this out, I think we're mostly going upwards. And by the way, if you're interested in a trading competition right now, if you want to trade crypto, I've also got a link down below to BLOFIN. It's a platform I'm using right now to trade. You can check it out. As I said, a link is down below. As right now, we're giving away $16,000 worth of XRP, fully just giving away to 20 people. So again, check it out. The link is down below to the competition. It will only last for one more day. You only have one more day to enter. And after that, we're doing a pretty massive team competition. We're almost 2,000 people in our team, though, depending on how many people actually join. These are just the people that are around in our team to join, but not everybody will press that button. But I'm basically giving this 5,000 XRP away, so hopefully we're going to assemble ourselves a better team throughout the next, I'm going to say day or days, so we can do really, really well in the massive BLOFIN competition. But there's also a link down below to WeX, which you can also use from probably everywhere in the world. And I'll go back. Again, why I think XRP could do so well over a season, I've described many a time, but one of the parts basically comes along the lines of, or comes down to the lines of it being quite undervalued versus Bitcoin, it having a couple more bullish points than most of these other coins. I mean, the whole SEC debacle, the fact that it was labeled a security in the 2021 run and thus never really went for a run back then, and right now the price basically being below what it was in 2017, whereas all these other coins are at multiples of it, or were not even around at the time, makes you just think it is really, really undervalued. And really, I kind of go down that path more and more today. I want to keep it kind of short, just to give people a little idea as to just from a really basic perspective, why I'm so excited about it. Not being too deep, not being too technical, not showing too many difficult charts, just logically, why do I hold so much of the coin? Why am I not selling every single thing I have? Mostly from that angle, that if I look at this list, the further down the rankings I go, the better a chance I have to 100x my coins. But the higher the chance is going to either go to 0 or that I'm just going to really have a bad time in the midst. Again, if we're just taking a look at WIF, for example, it was almost $5 a month and a half ago. Right now it's 80 cents, right? So I'm basically down 80% on my money in just a few weeks. Now, it can happen to any coin, sure, but the lower down the rankings you go, the higher the probability of it happening. And so even though with a coin like WIF, it'll be easier to make a 10x than with a coin at the top, there's also a higher chance you're going to be ending up crying, at least for a good while, to see that happen. Or it is more reliant, I'd say, on narratives, whereas the higher up in the rankings you go, the more they just go along with Bitcoin. Meaning, if you scroll down, a lot of these coins, they just move kind of on their own or in their own seasons, whereas coins at the top, Bitcoin, ETH, XRP, Solana, BNB, they all kind of, for the most part, just follow along with the general Bitcoin narrative. Not always, but just quite often. Right now, with the past hour or so, Bitcoin has been slashing a bit, going from 100,400 or something like that, back to 99.1. So all the altcoins, of course, are also bleeding at least a little bit. Take a look at that, huh? 6% down in an hour, just craziness. But yeah, I don't want to spend too much time. I just wanted to give you guys some thoughts as to why I'm still holding it, what my general thinking process is, and the reason I'm not selling a lot of it is because, well, could I sell it to that has a better risk-reward ratio? I can't think of it yet. Dollars, yeah, I mean, there's lower risk of the dollar collapsing rather soon, right? I mean, the dollar could have some problems, sure, but the probability of a full-on collapse is still quite small. I mean, the probability that a random cryptocurrency will collapse is way higher than that the dollar will collapse. Not necessarily in our lifetimes, but even that you could definitely argue for. But the reward with the dollar is for sure minus. Whereas I think with XRP, the reward is way better. Also higher risk, I'd say, but way better reward. So gold, again, you can make the same story where, again, the reward might be significantly less, whereas the risk might be similar or slightly better. Property is the same. You can say, oh, well, you know what? You're going to grow 16% a year in your best property years. Well, I mean, if we're looking at the crypto market here, well, that's 16% in a year. We're hoping to make that in a day, you know? And so you continue on thinking about it. And eventually you come to a conclusion that I prefer to risk it all going to zero in order to make those gains, because from all the other fundamentals, it makes sense to take that leap of faith. It makes sense to go ahead and take that risk, which again, is my philosophy. Is the reason I do it. It's the reason I'm making these videos every single day for the most part. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed my thought process here and me explaining it, you might want to press that like button. You don't have to. Do whatever you want. And I'll see you guys again in another crypto video, most likely within a few hours. I'm still drinking a lot of different cups of drinks. We got the coffees, we got the teas, we got another coffee. Because I told you guys, I'm watching the market like a freaking hawk right now. What a crazy time to be alive. And I hope you guys are enjoying every minute of it.